Hi everyone, today we will discuss regarding corals and coral reef formation. Coral reef definition. Vaughan in 1917 has defined coral reef as a ridge or mound of limestone, the upper surface of which is near the surface of sea and which is formed of calcium carbonate by the actions of organisms that are chiefly called as corals. So coral reef, another definition it is given here. The coral reef, it is nothing but a ridge or mound like biogenic structure in the tropical seas that are composed of largely calcium carbonate and built almost exclusively by reef organisms that are called as coral reef. So coral reef, it is nothing but a ridge or mound of limestone. The upper surface will be near to the surface of the sea and which is formed of calcium carbonate by the action of the organisms, reef producing organisms that are commonly called as corals. Biome of coral reef. So biome, if you see that, biome is the recognizable subdivision of the terrestrial or aquatic ecosystems, including the total assemblage of plants and animal life and their interactions within the life layer. So coral reef biome includes the reef building coral reefs and other organisms as well as their ecological interaction within them, that we can call them as a coral reef biome. It is nothing but along with the coral reef producing organisms, there will be other organisms will be there which may include either plants or other animals by which they will interact with each other, that will constitute this coral reef biome. So it is the recognizable subdivision of the terrestrial or aquatic ecosystems, including the total assemblage of plants and animal life and their interaction with the life layer. So coral reef biome includes the coral building corals, that is reef building corals and other organisms as well as their ecological interaction within them, that we can call them as a coral reef biome. So this is the definition for coral reef biome. Components of coral reefs. A coral reef, if you see that the coral reefs are mainly produced by the corals belonging to that of the Anthozoa class, particularly by stony corals, that is the Madreporaria. Hence these are supposed to be the principal builders of the coral reefs, though there are certain other contributors also. So the coral reefs are mainly produced by the organisms which are included under the class Anthozoa. Among this, the stony corals are mainly produced by Madreporaria. So in addition to stony corals, other components in the formation of coral reefs are Millipora, Tubifora, Heliopora, Alcyonaria, Gorgonians, Foraminifera, coralline algae and branching algae, etc. So along with these stony corals, these are the other coral producing organisms that are included under this. They are the Millipora, Tubifora, Heliopora, Alcyonaria, Gorgonian, Foraminifera, coralline algae and branching algae, etc. So these are the main components of coral reefs. Reef building corals and other organisms. Already in the previous slide we discussed about that the corals that are produced by Madreporarian, they are commonly called as stony coral. So Madreporarian mainly they will produce as the stony corals, which may be are of two types. The first one is imperforate corals, the second one is perforate corals. Imperforate corals mainly includes Astrea, Flabellum and Favia, etc. Whereas perforate corals mainly includes Sporites, Madrepora, Montipora, Acropora, etc. So Madreporarian corals or stony corals are of two types. They are the imperforate corals and perforate corals. The other one, that is other corals, millipora and sometimes tubifora and heliophora. They will produce the corals. So the much calcified alcyonarians like fungia, which will produce the mushroom coral, etc., and the gorgonians are also recorded from the beds of the Caribbean and West Indies regions. So these are reef building corals and other organisms. Let us see the conditions which are essential for the formation of the coral reefs. So the reef building corals require certain requisites for the formation of the coral reefs. These are the first important one, that is the temperature. So the water must be warm and the coral reef requires a temperature between 20 degrees to 30 degrees centigrade for their growth, and the best development of the coral reef will be taking place within the range between 25 degrees centigrade to 29 degrees centigrade. But the corals does not develop if the temperature, if it falls below 18 degrees centigrade. So the major coral reefs are confined to the tropical and subtropical waters between 30 degrees north and 30 degrees south latitudes. So generally the corals formation, it may require the warm water and the temperature should be 20 degrees to 30 degrees centigrade. The best development of the coral reef will be seen when the temperature it is between 25 to 29 degrees centigrade. If the temperature, if it falls below 18 degrees centigrade, the coral reefs, they are not at all produced. So major coral reefs are confined to the tropical and subtropical waters between the 30 degrees north and 30 degrees south latitudes. So generally the corals, if you see that, the corals do not thrive above the temperature of 33 degrees centigrade. That means they cannot survive beyond 33 degrees centigrade. So but a few reefs in the Arabian Sea regularly encounter the above temperature of about 33 degrees centigrade in summer and below 18 degrees centigrade in winter. They can survive, which are mainly seen in the Arabian Sea. So the temperature, this is one of the factors that influences the coral reef formation. Second one, the second condition which is essential for the coral reef formation, that is depth of the sea. The coral reef grow in relatively shallow water and the depth it is related to the entry of sunlight for photosynthesis. The Russell and Young 1963 reported that Russell and Young in 1963 reported that the corals could grow outwards as far as 30 fathoms, that is at about 180 feet, and below this depth line, the light penetration it is insufficient for the proper nutrition of the associated plants. So the coral reef formation will takes place in the sea water, which is having, that is shallow water, and the depth it is at about 30 fathoms only. Beyond that, that is, if the depth, if it is beyond the light penetration, they can't survive. So the coral reef formation, it also depends on the penetration of the light as well as the depth of the sea. This third factor which is associated with corals and coral reef formation, that is the sunlight. So the sunlight is also very much essential and required for the photosynthesis of symbiotic zooxanthellae. Example, Symbiodinium microadriaticum, Symbiodinium microadriaticum, which is present in the endoderm of the reef building cnidarians. They also help to secrete skeletons, which is made up of limestone or calcium carbonate of millipora, tubifora and heliopora, and contribute to the formation of the reef structure. It has been shown experimentally that the reefs it may fail to grow in shady places and they may die if they are kept in total darkness. So the sunlight it is one of the factors that influences the coral reef formation. So here in this slide we discussed the two factors that are the depth of the sea and sunlight. The depth of the sea and sunlight, they plays a vital role in the formation of the coral reefs. Let us see the other factors. The fourth one, that is clear water. So generally if the water, if it is clear, that will permit the penetration of sufficient amount of sunlight, which is related to the photosynthesis of zooxanthellae, which is a symbiotic algae, and also other macroalgae which are present in the coral reefs. So one species that are Porites limosa, they can live in muddy condition. This is an exemption. So the coral reef formation will take place when the water, if it is clear, and that will permit the penetration of the sufficient light for photosynthesis of zooxanthellae, which is a symbiotic algae, and other microalgae which are present in the coral reefs. So the clear water facilitates the formation of the coral reefs. The fifth one, that is suspended particles and sedimentation. The corals, they can grow in shallow, clear, free from suspended particles. Silt can block the mouth of the corals and prevent the feeding. So the major rivers which carry the silt and disposals prevent the process of photosynthesis. So the corals are not found in the deltaic areas. The corals are not found also in the eastern part of the India due to presence of several large rivers such as the Ganges and Suvarnarekha and Mahanandi, etc. So due to presence of these silt, they will prevent the feeding, that will block the mouth of the coral reef organisms. That's why the coral formation, it won't take place. So the water turbidity inhibits the active coral growth along the east coast of the South America, and cold water currents, it will perform the similar task on the west coast of Africa. So this is related to suspended particles and sedimentation and clear water. The sixth condition, that is salinity. The reef, it can grow with a specific salinity. They can tolerate salinities between 30 to 40 parts per trillion, ppt, parts per trillion. Seventh one, that is nutrient. So they can thrive in areas which are poor in nutrients because a large number of nutrients such as planktons and megaalgae smoother the corals, blocking out the light. The eighth condition, that is precipitation of the calcium. So the precipitation of the calcium from seawater is necessary to form the skeleton of the coral polyp. So this precipitation, it will occur when the water temperature, salinity are high and carbon dioxide concentration, if it is low. So when the temperature and salinity are high and carbon dioxide concentration, if it is low, then only they will result in the formation of the calcium carbonate by the process of precipitation. The ninth condition, that are waves and currents. The coral reefs, they can thrive in reduced waves, but the absence of the waves and currents, they will help to accumulate the silt in the muddy patches that can suffocate the coral reefs. So these are the conditions that may result in the coral reef formation. So some of the conditions, they cannot favor the formation of the corals. So let us see the distribution of the coral reef formation. So the corals have built a thick substratum on the earth crust. They have coral reefs in the Caribbean seas and in the Indo-Pacific region from east coast of Africa to the northeastern coast of Australia, which is known as a Great Barrier Reef. However, Fiji Islands of Pacific Ocean and those situated in Bahama Islands are the best known coral islands of the world. The next one, Bermuda, which is a coral island where the houses are built of coral blocks, and around India coral reefs are found of Port Oka and Dwaraka in the Gulf of Kutch, and also of Rameshwaram in the Gulf of Mannar between India and Sri Lanka. So the coral reefs are also located at Andaman and Nicobar Islands and at Lakshadweep Islands also. So this is a distribution of the coral reef formation in different countries, and here the Great Barrier Reef, it is the largest coral reef which is extending from east coast of Africa to northeast coast of Australia, which is known as Great Barrier Reef. So this is distribution of the coral reef formation. So let us see the types of coral reefs. On the basis of the structure and the underlying substratum, Charles Darwin in 1831 he classified the coral reefs into three types. They are fringing reef or shore reef. The second one is barrier reef, and third one is atoll. So fringing reef, barrier reef and atoll, these are the three types of coral reefs which was classified by Charles Darwin in 1831. Let us see the fringing reefs. The fringing reefs are also referred to as shore reefs, and they are built from the sea bottom and extend from shore up to 1/4 mile, having no navigable channel between the shore and the reef. So this zone of the sea, it is called a sea edge or front, or reef edge or reef front. However, some of the reef beds are broken to result into irregular channels that are called as lagoons. So such reefs are composed largely of coral sand having living and dead corals, building reefs, mud and other animals. So fringing reef is very common in East Indies. So here it is extended from the shore up to 1/4 mile, having no navigable channel between the shore and reef. That is called as fringing reef. Let us go for the second type of coral reef, that is the barrier reef. The barrier reefs are like that of the fringing reefs, but they are situated in the sea nearly 1 kilometer to 15 kilometer away from the seashore. So therefore navigable channel that are called as lagoon that will separate these reefs from that of the shore. So the lagoon may be 20 to 40 fathoms depth, hence it will becomes navigable. So the Great Barrier Reef on the northeast coast of Australia is 1200 miles long and at about 20 to 70 miles wide, and situated nearly 90 miles away from the shore. So this is the barrier reef. So here they are like that of the fringing reef, but they are situated in the sea nearly 1 kilometer to 15 kilometers away. 1 kilometer to 15 kilometers away. Therefore navigable channel that are called as lagoons, they will separate these reefs from that of the seashore. So these lagoons may be 20 to 40 fathoms depth, and hence it will become navigable. So the Great Barrier Reef on the northeast coast of Australia, which is at about 1200 miles long, it is a best example for barrier reef. The third type of the coral reef is the atoll reef. The atoll reef, it is also referred to as coral island or lagoon island, which is circular or horseshoe shaped. Circular or horseshoe shaped, that will enclose the reef as a lagoon of water which may be either small, large, up to 50 miles across. So the atoll may be broken to form channels, so some suitable for navigation and other may not be suitable for navigation. An interesting atoll reef example is Aldabra in the Indian Ocean, about 260 miles northeast of the Malagasy Republic and 400 miles from the coast of Africa. It is there. So here lagoon, coral island is coral island or lagoon, it is there, and it may be broken into small pieces where we can see navigation will be there or navigation will not be there. So here this is atoll type of coral reef. Let us see the formation of the coral reefs. The coral reefs have a great vertical thickness, though reef building corals live only up to the depth of 50 meters. And those of past geological ages also lived in the shallow littoral waters. How the great thickness of the coral reefs has been made is explained by several theories, of which only the two may be considered. These two theories will explain about the formation of the coral reefs, which are of three types: fringing reef, barrier reef and atoll. So these two theories, they will explain how the reefs are formed. The first theory is Darwin's subsidence theory. So this theory states that the coral reefs were first formed as a fringing reef and sloping shores. So they became barrier reef when the shore sank. When the shore sank with water channel between them and the land. If the land is an island which sinks completely, then an atoll is formed. Thus, the sinking or subsidence has caused the thickness of the reefs. As a result of that, the barrier reefs will be formed from that of the fringing reefs. So this is the Darwin's subsidence theory. The second theory that explains the coral reef formation is Daly's glacial control theory. This theory states that during the last glacial period, the formation of the ice caps lowered the ocean level by 60 to 70 meters below the present surface. So the waves, they will cut the shores to make flat platform which is suitable for the growth of the corals. As the ice caps melted and the temperature rose, the corals began to grow on these platforms and rose upwards with rising ocean level. And all the types of the reefs were formed on the pre-existing platforms. So there is evidence that the coral reefs are growing today on submerged land, and the foundations of the reefs are now at a much greater depth than they were when the coral first began to grow. So observation of living corals shows that their rate of growth is from 5 millimeter to 20 centimeters per year. Thus, a 50-meter deep reef could be formed in less than a 50-meter deep reef could be formed in less than 8,000 years, and all the known reefs could have been built in under 30,000 years. So some borings made in the coral reefs showed that the reef rested on level platforms, but some of other borings showed that the reefs had no underlying platforms, but they had only the sand and the shell below them. So it appears from these facts that some reefs were laid down on pre-existing platforms, but many reefs were formed according to Darwin's subsidence theory. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe. Hope you understood this topic. If you are watching my video for the first time, please subscribe my channel.